Hey friend, welcome back to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. Have you ever started something new, maybe a new diet, a new health program, and then halfway through you thought, this is way harder than I expected. What in the world was I thinking? You are not alone. Today we're going to be talking about one of the biggest mistakes I see when it comes to healing and cleansing, and that is jumping in without preparing your body and your mind first. Trust me, a little bit of preparation can change everything, so let's get started. Welcome to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. This podcast is for busy moms who want to feel their best and create a healthier home without stress or confusion. If you're ready for simple, practical tips to boost your energy, nourish your family, and make wellness a natural part of your everyday life, then you're in the right place. From easy wellness hacks to natural living tips, my goal is to help you to take small, manageable steps that lead to real, sustainable results. Because taking care of yourself shouldn't feel like just another chore. Let's dig in. Hey friend, have you joined our free Facebook community yet? It's the perfect place for exhausted moms who are trying to feel better one small step at a time. Inside, we talk all things simple, healthy habits, natural remedies, low-tox living, and finding real energy again, even when life is crazy and your symptoms won't quit. You'll get encouragement, weekly wellness prompts, and a safe space to share what's really going on behind the scenes. Plus, we'll go deeper into each podcast episode so you don't have to do this healing journey alone. To join us, just go to bit.ly/motherhood-community. That's bit.ly/MOTHERHOODCOMMUNITY. Or you can click the link in the show notes below. I can't wait to meet you inside. If you are struggling with chronic symptoms, maybe it's joint pain, fatigue, brain fog, it could be stubborn inflammation, and you are just hoping to start feeling better, then today's episode is for you. Because the reality is, I want to talk about this idea that healing is not about punishing our bodies or forcing ourselves into these really hard situations or really hard protocols. It's actually about supporting our bodies. And I can tell you, I have not gotten this right many times on my health journey. I once jumped into this cleanse program just out of desperation to feel better. There was no prep. There was no mindset of really gearing myself up for it and realizing what I was getting into. No gentle start, nothing like that. I just went from this really tired, stressed out person straight into a really restrictive detox overnight. And I'm sure you can guess how that ended. It was headaches, mood swings, no energy, just feeling so bad that I ended up quitting just probably a day after I started, and honestly feeling worse than whenever I started. I'm sure you guys have had similar experiences as well. And that experience really taught me something, and that was that the body does need preparation. It doesn't need more stress or more pressure. It just needs this really gentle, intentional preparation, and it really needs for us to go slow. We need to work with the body when we're trying to heal instead of trying to force it into this really extreme situation. And the truth is that whenever we start clearing out toxins, whether that's toxins from our food, our home, or even our emotions, things begin to stir up. And if your body is not ready, then those toxins can recirculate, making you feel worse temporarily instead of better. That's why so many busy moms will say, I tried detoxing, but it made me feel horrible. And it's because their body was overwhelmed by the amount of toxins it was trying to release, and it was not feeling supported. Think of it kind of like spring cleaning your house. Before you start dragging everything out of the closets, you need a plan to get started. You need to have your trash bags ready. You need to have cleaning supplies. You need to have a box to put your donation stuff in. Your vehicle needs to be cleaned out so that all of your donation stuff can go straight there. Otherwise, it's just going to be complete and total chaos, and you're most likely not going to have a good experience. Our bodies are pretty much the same way. And I just want to encourage you that I want to give you some gentle steps. There's 5 gentle steps to get your body and your mind ready to detox. And we've talked about how we're going to, over the next several episodes, we're going to talk about detoxing. So let's talk about how can you get ready. The first, number 1, is you must start with hydration. So you have to be drinking enough water. Aim to drink half of your body weight in ounces of pure, well-filtered water each day. So an example of this would be if you weigh 150 pounds, then you're going to go for 75 ounces of water. Water is so important for flushing out toxins safely. 2 is going to be that you want to open up your elimination pathways. Toxins leave through various methods, areas like your bowels, your kidneys, your skin, your lungs, and your lymph. So supporting your bowels with fiber and then also making sure that you're going regularly is very helpful in helping to flush the body of any toxins. Deep breathing, so we're making sure we're getting good quality air into our lungs, is very important. Moving your body gently to help with lymphatic flow. So like we've talked about before, a vibration plate, even just a gentle walk. Rebounding is great as well. And then another thing is if you can sweat a little bit every day, this is also going to help with your skin to get the toxins out that way. This could even be like maybe you physically can't do really intensive exercise. Then if it's safe for you and you know your own health issues, but this could even look like something like a hot bath, soaking in that in order to be able to allow your body to sweat. Okay, number 3 is going to be to simplify your diet. This one I think is really important because I find a lot of times we really want to complicate the food we eat. And my experience has been that whenever I overcomplicate my diet, I don't stick with it. And so I just have to keep it super simple. And I know a lot of people would say that's really boring. And, it probably is, but that's just what works best for me. And that's what I can stick with the most. So before starting a cleanse, I just want to encourage you to just try to start eating more whole foods, eating more raw fruits and vegetables. And another key is you're going to want to cut back on processed foods, on caffeine, and on sugar gradually. Don't just quit cold turkey. Not only can this shock your body and leave you feeling really bad, but like we've talked about before, kind of like what I just said, when you're starting with a new habit and you have these big, major drastic changes, it's not likely that you are going to stick with that and create a lasting habit. It really is making these massive changes all at once. It's kind of a way to set yourself up for failure. So start small and build from there. I actually remember a couple years ago, I had decided I was having a lot of adrenal issues and could just tell my body really was not doing well with caffeine at all. And so I had decided that I wanted to remove caffeine from my diet. And I am an all or nothing kind of person. So whenever I say don't go to extremes, I say this speaking from experience. And so I had just decided, okay, I don't even think I need to do caffeine anymore. I think it's giving me anxiety, which it was. And I just completely cut it out. I just decided, nope, I'm not going to have any at all. And the first few days I made it through, but I had massive headaches, like could not function almost because my head was hurting so bad. I felt really irritable and I was just exhausted. And I just realized I had to take a step back and say, you know what, this is too much for my body and I need to do this a different way because this really isn't sustainable. I still had 4 kids to take care of, so I had to be able to function. So what I did instead was I just went to a half-calf coffee, and in the morning I would have that. And then I would cut that back and I would do a quarter of that. And then I eventually went to completely decaf. And then I went off of all coffee at all and went to like a tea alternative. And that's what worked well for me. I was able to, I still drink, typically I drink decaf. But I still am able to keep up with that. And the reason being is because I decided to do it gradually. And that's the reality is it's been a couple of years ago since I did that. And I still cannot have, like if I go to a coffee shop, I cannot drink anything that's not decaf because it gives me extreme anxiety. And so I'm just saying this in order for you to realize if we can step back and decide to make these smaller steps in order to really support our body, we're more likely to stick with it. So number 4 is going to be to prepare emotionally. And this is something that a lot of people don't necessarily think about, but the different traumas and the different experiences we have, they do affect our body, like our physiology. And so we have to keep in mind that detox is not just physical. Sometimes we also have to release things like old emotions, sadness, irritability, maybe it was some kind of anger or some kind of trauma. And it's completely normal for that to happen at the same time. I just want to encourage you as you're going into it to really think about some different ways that you can support yourself emotionally. Maybe that is, speaking with a prayer partner. Maybe that is journaling different things out. Maybe that's talking with a counselor, whatever it may look like for you. But keep in mind that as you're detoxing, there are these different experiences and emotions that are very likely to come up because our emotional state is so connected with our physical state. And so really think ahead about how you want to support yourself when those difficult feelings come up. Okay, number 5, this kind of ties into it, is to get spiritually centered. Just take time to pray, journal, spend extra time in the Bible. My favorite thing is getting outside and praying. I feel really connected to the Lord whenever I'm outside. Whatever it is that helps you to feel connected to the Lord, really taking some time to be intentional with that. Because the reality is that true healing is about being whole, and that includes like our body, our mind, and our spirit as well. All right, friends, I know you have a million things on your plate already. You have kids to care for. You have a home to run, maybe you're working, homeschooling, caregiving, or like me, all of the above. That's why preparation is so important for you. You don't have time to crash and burn mid-cleanse and then to give up and then to beat yourself up because you couldn't stick with it. You actually deserve to move into healing, feeling stronger, calmer, and also just being better supported and feeling better in your body. I just want to remind you that you are not selfish for wanting to feel good, and you are not weak for needing to go slowly. It's really wise to just choose a gentle path in order to support your body. And I know it's not as popular because it feels harder, it feels slower, but it really is the wise route to take. So this week, if you feel led, these are just a couple of gentle homework ideas for you. You could start adding in 1 extra glass of water a day. You could swap out one processed snack for another real food snack. You could also set aside 5 minutes for deep breathing each morning. You could take 5 minutes to pray and to journal about whatever feelings are popping up, and then just evaluate. Like, pick one of these things, do it consistently every day, and then evaluate how you feel at the end of the week. Are you noticing an improvement, even if it's just a super small one? I think that if we can take the time to recognize and really celebrate those small wins, that's how we're going to create that motivation to continue. All right, friends, until next time, take a deep breath, give yourself some grace, and remember, you are doing better than you think. I'll see you back next time.
Hey Mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who is wanting to live more holistically without the overwhelm? Also, don't forget to head over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. It blesses and encourages me to know that this show is helping you. All right, friends, it's time for me to go work in the garden and make some homemade bone broth. I will see you back next week.